Chapter 1. The First Sorry. You're the printer kid. Printers don't get to read. That's Marcus, 2 a.m., not looking up, sliding 40 confidential pages off your counter. You're 24, running the overnight copier at a print shop in Dayton, Ohio, for $14 an hour. The pages are a billionaire's apology, due on TV at 9. You'd pointed at a typo you fixed. That's what earned you the line. Marcus runs the firm rich men call when they get caught. He owns every rich man's worst night in Ohio. He doesn't come alone. His assistant leans on the glass door in heels, bored, typing. You print other men's apologies for $14 an hour. In 19 years, billionaires will wait on hold to buy yours. 9 a.m. Breakroom TV. The billionaire cries at the exact line you printed. On the delivery run, you find the cue card in the hotel ballroom trash. The tears had stage directions, printed in brackets. Pause. Look down. Let the voice break. You pocket it. Nobody knows it exists. In 19 years, you'll be the man every billionaire calls first, the one who buries rich men's sins for a living. And Marcus's own name will land on your desk. He gets what's coming. That's the easy part. The hard part is the card. Why do you keep it 19 years and never show a soul? Chapter 2. The Heir. Your phone rings at 11:40 on a Tuesday night, and a stranger's first words are, "How much to make this go away?" You're at your kitchen table in Dayton, 3 months after the cue card. You've read every crisis playbook the library owns. Last week you posted a rewrite of a botched local apology online, mostly to prove you could. Somebody's lawyer read it. The client is Preston, 26, never worked a day. His dad owns car dealerships across 3 counties. 2 hours ago, Preston drove his dad's show car into a country club fountain. 4 people filmed it. Here's the first thing nobody tells you about this trade. The apology gets written before the lawyer finishes, saying deny everything. You write Preston's statement at the kitchen table that same night, while his lawyer is still calling the video fake. Your fee is $200, cash. You would have done it free just to see if the brackets work. They work. Then Preston opens his mouth. On the country club sidewalk, cameras out, Preston reads your 2 paragraphs clean. Then he grins and ad-libs that the fountain needed the excitement. By midnight, he's a headline again. Lesson 1, learned in public. Never let the client improvise. You fix it with the only thing Preston actually fears. Not the video, his dad's signature on the allowance. The second statement announces, Preston will pay for the fountain from his own account, and his dad will co-sign nothing else this year. You wrote his punishment, and the county reads it as character. It holds. The dealership name survives the week. At the print shop, where you still run the overnight copier, you spot something in the tray of unpaid bills. An invoice to Marcus's firm, stamped 90 days overdue in red. The biggest fixer in Ohio isn't paying a $600 print bill. You file that away. It means nothing to you yet. Preston's dad pays you himself, in his dealership office, cash folded like a tip for a valet. Preston's dad doesn't thank you. He keeps your number, and men like him keep numbers the way other people keep jumper cables. 2 weeks. That's how long a good fixer's number takes to travel between rich men. You'll learn to set your watch by it. Sunday at noon, your mom Ellen calls. Ellen works the cafeteria line at a grade school in Dayton and leaves voicemails the way other people leave porch lights on. Made too much food again. Proud of you. No need to call back. You don't call back. You're at the kitchen table rewriting Preston's follow-up for free. The number in his dad's pocket is worth more than the 200 in yours. Your girlfriend Sarah watches from the kitchen doorway. Sarah says the true thing's flat, the way other people read a receipt. They're not paying you to write. They're paying you to kneel, so they don't have to. You tell Sarah the fee triples once people know your name. Sarah points out that nobody at that club learned your name. She's right, and that's the product. The statement ran everywhere, and you appear nowhere. 19 years from now, the men who cry on TV will wait on hold for you, and the public still won't know your name. Tonight, being invisible pays $200 and costs 1 voicemail. You tape the cue card deeper into the kitchen drawer, under the takeout menus. Somewhere across 3 counties, a folded stack of 20s is teaching you the real math of this trade. Rich men don't pay for words. Rich men pay for quiet. And you just found out quiet has no ceiling. Chapter 3. The Guru. The ring light is taller than you, and it's pointed at a crying millionaire in a rented garage. His name is Chase, 29, sells a $500 course about waking up at 4 in the morning, sleeps till 11. Preston's dad passed your number to a golf buddy, and the golf buddy's son is your second client. 2 weeks ago, the internet learned that Chase rents the mansion by the day and the jet by the hour. His whole empire of grind is somebody else's invoice. Chase can cry on command. He gets there by take 3. Between takes, he checks the monitor and asks, dead serious, which take had the realest crying? Nobody warns you about takes 4 through 14. Those are for camera angles. In the garage studio, you stand behind the tripod and call out the brackets from the cue card like a coach. Pause. Look down. Let the voice break. Your own voice stays steady while you say it, and that steadiness will scare you later, when there's time. The apology video posts on a Thursday. You brace for the internet to bury Chase. Instead, course sales go up. Refund requests drop by half. Grown men comment that watching Chase own his mistakes taught them accountability. He was crying about fake rent in a rented garage, and it read as growth. Lesson 2. The audience doesn't want the truth. It wants the performance of truth, and it tips well. Then Chase does the thing Preston was too lazy to do. He repackages you. Within a month, your comeback script is his accountability masterclass. $89. Module 4. Your sentences, his font, his face on the thumbnail, and when a trade magazine writes up the comeback, the credit goes to the biggest name in the state, Marcus's firm. Marcus had nothing to do with it. Everyone just assumed, and Marcus didn't correct them. You read that article twice, sitting in your parked car outside the garage studio. Then you do the math that builds your career. Nobody can steal credit from a man selling invisibility. Credit is the one thing in this trade you should never want. Phone numbers are the inventory, and you have 2 now. You raise your price to $2,000 and wait for the argument. Chase's business manager pays the same day, no questions, like you had quoted him lunch. That silence teaches you more than the money does. Rich people don't flinch at numbers. Rich people flinch at daylight. Sunday at noon. Ellen's voicemail is shorter than last month's. She saved you a plate. It's in her freezer, wrapped in foil, labeled with masking tape. No need to call back. You don't call back. The plate sits in Ellen's freezer, like a library book you keep renewing. At dinner in your kitchen, Sarah asks what you actually sold this month. You tell her the honest inventory, 14 takes of a man crying about rent. Sarah doesn't laugh. You notice that she doesn't. Here's what you can't know yet. Reading a magazine that spelled someone else's name over your work. One day, the man taking that credit will need a comeback of his own, and the only person left selling them will be you. Monday, the studio gets returned, ring light and all. Rented. Like the mansion. Like the jet. Like the grind. You keep one souvenir from the shoot, the shot list, with pauses written in brackets, in your own handwriting for the first time. It looks exactly like the cue card. That's the part you don't say to Sarah. Chapter 4. The Landlord. Are you the one who did the fountain, kid? A lawyer's voice, and your bedside clock says 1:04 in the morning. You're learning the clock of this trade. The worse the sin, the later the call. Preston was 11:40. This one is past 1 a.m., and it's not about a fountain. The client is Frank, 60s, owns 3,000 apartment units across 2 states, a face like a firm handshake. Last night, a space heater fire in one of Frank's buildings put a family of 5 on the sidewalk. This morning, inspectors found the code violations. Tomorrow, the news finds Frank. You meet him in his storefront office, 1 flight above his own tenants. Frank's lawyer teaches you the vocabulary before Frank says a word. Regret, never sorry. Sorry admits fault, and fault has a dollar amount in court. You are being paid to find 40 ways to almost say it. You find them in an hour. You hate how easily they come. Then you earn the fee a different way. You tell Frank the statement alone won't save him, but showing up will. So Frank stands in a church basement with the burned-out family, on camera, and pays for everything on camera. Hotel, clothes, deposits, a year of rent. You wrote his lines. You placed the cameras. You told him when to stop talking. It saves Frank. And here is the part that keeps you up. It also, actually, houses the family. The kids have coats because you staged a photo op. The good deed and the cover-up are the same act, and you can't split them apart, and the check clears either way. Sarah asks how the new client is. You say the word client instead of a name for the first time. She notices. You notice her noticing. That week, a junior writer from Marcus's firm emails you. 8 years there, she says, and she asks if you're hiring. You work alone out of a rented office above a laundromat now, and you aren't hiring. You keep the email anyway. People leave sinking ships, not sailing ones, and that's 2 signs now. Frank's lawyer calls back with an offer. $20,000 a year, on retainer, for whenever. You say yes before he finishes the sentence. Sunday, you finally drive to Ellen's house to collect the foil plate from her freezer. Ellen holds the storm door open with her hip and asks if you can stay for dinner. You can't. There's a statement due. Ellen wraps a second plate anyway and tells you there's no need to call. She knows you're busy. The retainer check lands on your kitchen counter that week, and Ellen's foil plate sits next to it, still wrapped, going nowhere. Sarah looks at the check, then at the plate, then at you. She says it flat, the way she says all the true things. You've started answering the phone before it rings. You laugh. Sarah doesn't. Friday night, the phone sits face up on the dinner table like a guest. The foil plate is still in the fridge, unopened. You know the reheating instructions by heart because Ellen writes them on the masking tape every time, and you have never once followed them. The check gets deposited Monday, 9 minutes after the bank opens. The plate outlasts the weekend. Some debts you pay first, some you keep in the fridge. Chapter 5. The Crypto Kid? The phone lights up at 2:57 in the morning, and you're already awake, because by now, your body knows the clock better than you do. The worse the sin, the later the call. Almost 3 means somebody lost other people's money. The client is Dylan, 23, turned a coin bet into $400 million in 18 months, lost most of it last Tuesday. Not his money. His followers' money, the people who bought in because Dylan told them it only goes up. Frank's rescue made the trade press with your name finally attached, and Dylan's manager read the article at 2 a.m. Dylan lives 60 floors over Chicago. You take the first flight out of Dayton that morning. Within the year, you'll move Sarah, your wife now, to Chicago too, because this is where the phone lives. That's the whole reason, and you say it out loud to her like a statement you drafted. The penthouse is the emptiest place you have ever stood. 400 unopened delivery packages stacked along one wall. One beanbag chair facing a 6-screen monitor rig. No plates in the kitchen. Nothing on the walls. 60 hours of unread messages on his phone. In the middle of it all, a kid in a hoodie that cost more than your first car. Here's what nobody tells you about quick money. It doesn't change you. It unplugs you. Dylan hasn't spoken to anyone who isn't paid or anonymous in 2 years. You sit with Dylan at the kitchen island to draft his statement, and he can't finish a sentence. Mid-apology? Mid-crisis? He checks the reply counts on his last post. He apologizes the way he does everything. To an audience, never to a person. So you take his phone. 1 hour, you tell him, and you set it face down across the penthouse kitchen. Dylan shakes. Actually shakes, hands and jaw. A 23-year-old going through withdrawal from being seen. The statement you write in that hour is the best work of your career so far. It lands. The internet moves on by Friday. A retired teacher in Tampa does not move on. She put 40 years of savings into Dylan's coin because he told her it only goes up. Your statement doesn't reach her. It was never really for her. Her comment sits in Dylan's replies, once, then drowns under 10,000 jokes. You know that, and you bill for it anyway, $200,000. While you pack your bag, Dylan looks for a phone charger in it, and comes up holding your suit jacket instead. The cue card is in that jacket. You take the jacket back a half-second too fast, and Dylan is too unplugged to notice. The card rides in your breast pocket from that day on. At the penthouse door, Dylan asks it with a straight face. Can you just stay for a while? I'll pay for the hour. You are the closest thing this kid has to a friend, and you're an invoice. You leave. The deadbolt clicks behind you. One lock, 60 floors up, and nothing else in the world. In the elevator, you catch yourself checking your phone the way Dylan checks his. Thumb moving before the thought does. Same grip, same reflex. That night at dinner with Sarah, your phone lies face down for the first time in 3 years. One night. It lasts one night. Chapter 6. Old money. The call comes at 9 in the morning, sharp, and that's what makes you sit up. Crisis calls don't come in daylight. The worse the sin, the later the call. That was the rule. Then you meet the people the rule doesn't reach. Old money never calls at night, because old money never feels the night, and old money never calls you itself. A lawyer does, at 9, sounding like he's scheduling a dentist. The family is Eleanor's. Her last name is on a university library and a hospital wing, and the money underneath it is 4 generations deep. The sin. The family fund quietly bet a town's pension money on a deal that died. Eleanor's own grandson put the details in an email. The email leaked. Dylan's collapse burned some of their co-investors, which is how they got your number. You drive out to the estate. Eleanor receives you in a dining room longer than your first apartment, at a table set for nobody. Eleanor is in her 70s, spine like a flagpole, and she never once says the word crisis. At this level, nobody apologizes. They donate. A hospital wing is an apology with a roof on it. Nothing is ever said out loud, and the saying, nothing is the entire art. The staff treat you like staff. Coat taken, then judged. Eleanor compliments your suit by asking who your tailor trained under, which is a way of asking who you were 20 years ago. The answer is a printer, and Eleanor already knows it. Money can buy your shoes into this dining room. There's a door past that money doesn't open, and you're standing at it in $3,000 shoes. You draft the announcement anyway. A gift to the town, a fund for the pensioners, time to bury the grandson's email under good news. Your best paragraph has the word sorry in it once, buried soft in the middle, your small rebellion. At the dining room table, Eleanor reads it with a fountain pen in hand. She draws one line, through one word, without comment. The word is sorry. In your breast pocket, your thumb finds the edge of the cue card through the fabric. On your way out, in the front hall, Eleanor's lawyer mentions your predecessor, unasked. Marcus, he says. The fellow the family used before the trouble at his shop. He says trouble the way old money says everything, quietly, and only once. You file that away next to the overdue invoice. The announcement runs. It works. It always works. It has been working since before your grandfather was born, and it will keep working after you. Nobody at this level has cried on a podium, ever. That's what the brackets are for. People whose money is still young enough to feel. No invoice. When you finally ask Eleanor's lawyer about the fee, he repeats it like a house rule. The family doesn't discuss fees. Payment arrives anyway, over the next month, as 3 phone calls. 3 families who now take your call. 3 doors your name suddenly fits through. Old money doesn't pay in money. It pays in access, and access is the only currency it actually respects. You miss that Sunday entirely. First one in years. You're on the estate when Ellen's noon voicemail lands. You don't hear it until Monday, standing in the Chicago condo with your tie still on. Made soup. No need to call back. Sarah watches you listen to it twice. Then she says it flat, the way she says all the true things. You know every family's sins by heart. Nobody knows one of yours. The richest sins you've buried so far never even needed words. That should feel like the top. It feels like a ceiling. Chapter 7. The Founder. The war room at Adam's headquarters has his own face on the wall, poster-sized, mid-keynote. Under the poster, the real Adam is reading proof that his product doesn't work. Adam is 38, founder of a health tech company, the kind of man who says the word mission with a straight face. One of Eleanor's 3 phone calls sits on his board. When an internal test report leaked on a Tuesday, the board sent Adam to you before they sent him to the lawyers. Your fee now, $2 million a year. You remember when it was $200, folded like a valet tip. Adam's first draft of his own apology is on the war room screen, and it hits 4 entries on your list. You keep a taped-up list inside your office cabinet in Chicago. The 40 non-apologies. We're sorry you feel that way. Mistakes were made. We can do better. Sorry to anyone who was offended. Adam managed 4 in 1 page, a personal record among your clients. But the real problem is simpler, and you say it to his face in the war room. Adam wants to apologize for the leak. The leak isn't the sin. The lie is. You watch a grown man discover which of the 2 he's actually sorry about. Out loud, in a conference room with his own poster in it. I'm not sorry it leaked, Adam finally says. Quiet. I'm sorry it's true. That's the first honest sentence he's said in 2 years, and you're the only audience it will ever get. That's the job now. Priest rates, priest hours, none of the forgiveness. Your team runs to 6 people these days. The sharpest is Maya, the junior who emailed you back in the Frank year. 8 years at Marcus's firm before she jumped. In the war room, Maya crosses out a line in your draft and writes hers over it. Her line is better. You hear the sentence, leave your mouth before you feel it coming. You're the, you stop. Both of you know the end of that sentence. It's been living in your mouth for 14 years, in Marcus's voice. You take Maya's edit. You buy the coffee. The latter hands you Marcus's script one rung at a time, and the only choice you get is whether to read it out loud. On stage that Friday, at his own conference, Adam retires the keynote line he built his myth on. Plainly, no brackets, no staged pause. You wrote it that way on purpose. The company survives the quarter, smaller and almost honest. Adam thanks you afterward like a man thanking a surgeon for an amputation. The trade press piece about the save names you, for once, it calls you the one they call now. One paragraph down, the same article notes that Marcus's firm has lost its 2 anchor clients. There's a photo. A cheap vinyl banner hangs where his lobby sign used to be. 14 years ago, that man slid 40 pages off your counter and told you printers don't get to read. Every playbook in this business ends up on someone's desk eventually. His is about to land on yours. Sunday's voicemail from Ellen doesn't mention food. First time ever. She found your dad's old toolbox in the garage, she says, and thought of you. That's the whole message. No need to call back. Your thumb is over the call button at 11:58 p.m. when the phone rings first. A client number. You take it, standing in your dark kitchen. Of course you take it. Chapter 8. The Vulture. The call that changes everything comes at noon. Nobody calls you at noon. The worse the sin, the later the call. That rule carried you for 18 years. Then comes the man who calls in daylight, himself, no lawyer, calm as a dial tone. He stopped feeling the hours a long time ago. His name is Victor. Victor buys dying things. Family mills, third-generation firms, local chains, one bad year from the end. He buys them cheap, strips what sells, and sells the bones. This week, Victor is carving a steel mill town, whose name is on the national news, and he wants the shutdown announcement to feel warm. You fly out. On the mill town's main street, half the storefronts already papered over. You stand with Victor. He describes what he wants like a man ordering lunch. Flags on the podium. A pause before the word family. Maybe his voice catches. He says, "What would that run him? What does the pause cost?" Victor asks it with a straight face. On a street his signature is emptying. 18 years of clients and the criers never scared you. This is the one who scares you. The man asking the price of tears he has no plans to feel. He's asking you for the brackets. Pause. Look down. Let the voice break. The cue card in your breast pocket has never felt heavier. For the first time, you're being asked to sell it from the buyer's side. In Victor's office tower that afternoon, his acquisitions list sits open on the desk. The companies he's buying this quarter. 40-some names deep. Line item 41 stops you cold. Marcus's firm. And through the glass wall, in the lobby, there he is. Marcus, 61 now, holding a cardboard box of his own client files, waiting to sign them over. The overdue invoice, the juniors who fled, the vinyl banner. You watch the whole fall in pieces. Here's the floor it lands on. The line is right there. Aged 19 years, perfectly. You're the printer now, Marcus. Printers don't get to read. You run it in your head, word for word, standing close enough to say it. You don't say it. Instead, you turn to the deal memo and earn your fee sideways. You tell Victor the warm announcement only works if the severance is real, and you write Marcus's staff into it. Full packages, by name count. Victor shrugs and signs. It's cheaper than one bad news cycle, and you both know it. Through the glass, Marcus watches you do it. He doesn't know what he's watching. You do. You waited 19 years for a fire. You feel paperwork. Then you draw the one line you have left. You write Victor's Milltown statement plain. No flags choreography. No staged pause. No bracketed catch in the voice. The words carry it or nothing does. Victor reads it twice and doesn't argue. He doesn't feel enough to argue. That calm is the scariest thing you've met on this whole ladder. At the diner on the Milltown's main street, waiting on your flight, you watch a waitress leave her mom a voicemail on her break. Noon, daylight, nothing to hide. Just checking in, she says. You take out your phone in the booth. Ellen's last 3 Sunday voicemails sit there, unplayed. 3 Sundays. You count them twice. Back in Chicago, Victor's thank you is on your desk. A signed blank check, your name, no amount. You look at it a long time. The number you could write isn't the question anymore. The question is what Sunday costs. Chapter 9. The Apologist. The trade has a name for you now. The apologist. The one every billionaire calls first. The man who buries rich men's sins for a living. You took Victor's blank check and wrote a normal number on it. And something in that felt like the first win in years. Your firm fills a floor in Chicago. Maya runs half of it. On Monday, a notification crosses your desk. The severance packages for Marcus's old staff cleared this morning. Every name. You read it once and put the phone away. That account is settled, and Marcus will never know who settled it. Then a reporter you trust asks to meet in your Chicago office. She puts a number on the table. 7 figures for one artifact from your career. Any one. Her paper knows you keep things. You take out the cue card. 19 years old now, soft at the corners. A billionaire's tears, with the stage directions still printed in brackets. Pause. Look down. Let the voice break. Publish this, and the whole country finally sees what you saw in a hotel ballroom trash can at 24. Every televised apology since gets an asterisk. So does your whole career, and Marcus's whole life, and the trade itself. That's the cruel use, and you name it to yourself completely before you answer. You put the card back in your breast pocket. There's no story, you tell her. I keep receipts, not bombs. Sunday morning you drive to Dayton. No client, no statement due. The voicemails simply ran out of things to not ask for, and you finally heard it. Ellen's kitchen looks exactly the same. Same masking tape on the foil, same radio on the counter. Your mother is 70 now, and she pulls a wrapped plate from the freezer, like 19 years, fit in there, next to the ice trays. At her kitchen table, you take out a blank card, same size as the one in your pocket, nothing printed on it. And in your own handwriting, with Ellen watching, you write the only apology of your career with no client, no billing code, and no brackets. You slide it across the table. What it says stays in that kitchen. What it cost is 19 years of Sundays, and you both know the price without saying it. Ellen reads it twice. Then she says it flat, the way the true things get said in your family. You never owed me words. I just wanted the Sundays. Then your mother gets up and sets a second plate, because in this kitchen that's what forgiveness looks like. You call Sarah from Ellen's kitchen at noon. Daylight. Nothing to hide. The worse the sin, the later the call, and the people with clean hands call at lunchtime to say nothing much. You say nothing much for 11 minutes, and it's the best call of your career. Before you leave, you take the cue card out of your breast pocket one last time. Ellen's junk drawer is open. Coupons, rubber bands, dead batteries, church bulletins. You put the card in and close the drawer. The most dangerous piece of paper in American money will spend forever under grocery coupons in Dayton, Ohio. The brackets never get out. Next Sunday, your phone rings at noon. You're already in the car.